Miles. Vice Mayor Nickerson. Mayor Wood.
Present.
Thank you.
All right. We'll now ask Bishop Greer to open us up in prayer.
Please bow your heads. Father, we thank you for the town of Dumfries, all the residents, and all the things that are done in this great town. We ask that you give the leadership here wisdom, give them insight so good laws can be made, good ordinances, and that they can help keep this town both safe and growing. We thank you for their lives and their work. In Jesus' precious name we pray, and we all say amen.
Amen. Would I please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, please be seated. Next on our agenda is the adoption of the agenda. I'm going to ask that we remove the closed session from the agenda, add a proclamation for National Unity Weekend as item 4A. And we're going to also add a presentation for Historic Dumfries as item number 8E. Number 8E. Okay. The presentations. Yes. So just write on so just for
Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a motion that we approve the agenda for this evening with the exception, with the additionals of the awards and proclamations, and also the E that's added on 8.
Second. All right. It's been motion and removing the closed session, right? Yeah. And removing the closed session too, yeah? Okay. All right. It's cool. All right. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson. Aye. Councilmember Pete.
Yes.
Councilmember Fields.
Yes.
Councilmember Young.
Yes.
Mayor Wood.
Yes.
That motion has passed.
All right. First on the agenda is a proclamation recognizing National Unity Weekend. Whereas the town of Dumfries recognizing the enduring importance of unity, love, and service as a foundational values in strengthening our community and addressing the needs of the most vulnerable neighbors. And whereas National Unity Weekend, a movement initiated by Bishop Derek Greer and supported by the Let's Talk Initiative, continues to grow as a powerful demonstration of faith, compassion, and collective action, uniting churches, leaders, and volunteers from across the country in service and spiritual solidarity. And whereas this year's observance is on June the 7th and the 8th, it brings together more than 100 churches and organizations from over 24 states, including participation from local leaders and shared mission to spread love, to feed families, and to proclaim the message of oneness in Christ. And whereas more than 500 volunteers will be distributing food to over 6,000 families, directly impacting upwards to 18,000 individuals, many of whom in this historically underserved and the predominantly minority communities, offering not just meals, but hope and human connection. And whereas it's rooted in the unifying message where it says, therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. Old things have passed away, and behold, all things become new. National Unity Weekend reminds us that healing, reconciliation, transformation are possible when we walk together in faith and humility. And whereas this movement calls for all citizens, regardless of your background, to engage in meaningful conversations, acts of service, moments of prayer to foster racial unity, repentance, humility, and the unwavering commitment to love our neighbors. Now, therefore, the Town Council of Dumfries do hereby proclaim the weekend of June 7th and 8th, 2025 as National Unity Weekend in the town of Dumfries. And we encourage all the residents, all the churches, the mosques, the community organizations to participate in this weekend of action and to reflection. May we unite in purpose, honor the dignity of all people, and become agents of transformation in our community and beyond. Signed by order of the Town Council, Mayor Derek R. Wood.
Check this out. Thank you. Thank you. Well, on behalf of Grace Church, I'd like to thank the town council, the mayor. We've been in this community since 2007, and we have seen such growth. Nowadays, I only hear good things about the town of Dumfries. I was just this new room, I was in the other building. It's amazing the progress that's been made. I was just looking at the grass in the back, and kids can run, and the new park around the corner. Just great things are being done in town of Dumfries, and I salute you guys. But just want to say thank you very much on behalf of Grace Church. When the faith community and those in civil leadership join arms and link hands, we could do a whole lot. And really appreciate you acknowledging what we're doing and coming alongside to commemorate it in this special way. Thank you so much, and God bless you guys.
Mr. P.
Bishop Greer, Mr. Derek Greer, I just want to thank you also as from the council to you, not only for being a pastor for our community, but for the impact that you have made on you and your wife since you guys have first got here. I remember when you used to have hair up at the barbershop, right? So, but again, from just coming from that small idea of wanting to have a church here and wanting to give back to the community in the spiritual aspect, you didn't have no clue that you would be over there at Grace Church at that time. So it's a blessing to you and the family, also in the church family, and also to our community and as well, for you to be another pillar as well within our community that came from a small idea, you guys, to a church right over here in the corner at the end of Williamstown, with the Lord's blessing to a big church that everyone can see right there off the 234 and Van Buren corners right there before you get to the Popeyes and things like that. But so again, Mr. Derek Greer, thank you very much for your vision and your impact that you have had and installing into our community and our residents. Thank you again.
I'd be remiss if I didn't give you an opportunity to tell everybody what you're doing this weekend and what you're giving away, because I think this is a perfect time for us to be able to go out and to get those resources in the hands of people who need it.
Yes. So between 10 and 12 o'clock on Saturday, churches across the country will be serving their communities. We will have food. We will have shoes. There will be clothes, all different types of things. And churches are uniting across the nation to say that we care and we want to help those that are hurting and in need. And if you'd like to come out to participate, or you know some friends, or perhaps you're one that has a need, I'd love to see you between 10 and 12 on Saturday, the Grace Church parking lot. There will be also events out in Fredericksburg, in DC, in Fairfax County, North Carolina, Atlanta, and I might be missing a few locations, but it's an idea that's catching on, and I'd love to see you out if you're free, okay? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Peter.
Mr. Greer, I got one more thing that I can't omit.
Okay.
How I inquired about Mr. Greer, guys, is I was in a grocery store up in Manassas, coming out of that grocery store, and I seen this book that was there, and I read this little small book, and I was like, wait a minute, I know this guy, and so that gave me some inspiration to talk to Mr. Greer some more. So again, thank you for all you do.
Well, thank you, guys. All right.
All right. Next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the May 6, 2025 meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to approve the minutes from the May 2025 meeting.
Second. All right, it's been motion and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson.
Aye.
Councilmember Peak.
Yes.
Councilmember Fields.
Yes.
Councilmember Young.
Yes.
Mayor Wood.
Yes.
That motion has passed.
All right. Next on the agenda is citizen comment period. Do we have any citizens signed up to speak?
No citizens signed up to speak.
Is it so? I think
They signed up on a public hearing.
oh, they probably did. I don't think they want the public hearing.
Okay.
Yeah. I know.
Okay.
Yeah, do you want to speak in the public hearing or you want to speak now? Yeah, it's for public comment time.
Okay. The first person, I'm sorry if I can't pronounce or understand the last name. First name is Ahmad.
All right. And so we'll have a timer. You come over to this podium. There'll be a timer. Just state your name, your address, and your business, and then you can share your concerns.
Great.
Thank you, everyone. With due respect, I am Ahmad, Ahmad, and the last name Jawad. I am the contractor for Miss Lee. She want to build a restaurant. We have an issue in a drawing, so we are here to talk about that and present it for you guys to make a decision for that. If you want me, I can go in detail. So can I go in detail? Okay, so thank you. In the drawing, we had, first it was approved, everything to start the job, but after a couple of days, we have received an email from the reviewer that we need to change the ceiling for 2-hour rated system. Those buildings, they don't have any sprinkler system, no 2-hour fire rated, but still we secure the kitchen area. We made a partition and we installed like 3 layers of the gypsum board, so it is secure from inside because the heat and everything is inside the kitchen. We don't have anything outside the kitchen to do. And also there are like 4 or 5 restaurants, they don't have anything like fire rated. Even they don't have any partition in the kitchen area. So we are here all together to request from you to give her permission to go with the existing ceiling to finish her business.
Okay, thank you. During comment time, we just take the comments and we can reply during next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Was there anyone else signed up to speak? No? Okay. All right, now it is. Ricardo Martin, did you want to speak now? Oh, no, you all were together. Okay. All right, no problem. All right, it is now comment time from the council. All right, Councilman Pete. Councilman Fields, your comments?
Yes, good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming out. We definitely hear you and very concerned about what you brought to our attention. Hopefully it can be rectified. You definitely have our attention, and we'll go ahead and direct you to talk to our staff and see if we can get some things worked out, hopefully. Okay, so we definitely hear you. As for what's coming up this summer, the kids are out of school. We have big things coming up this summer. I want to go ahead and announce it on the 21st in Dumfries Shopping Center. I, along with a radio personality, Sirius Business Radio, will be sponsoring a Stop the Violence event. Be plenty of vendors out there, car shows, and so forth. So please come out and show your support. It's from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. that afternoon and that's right after Juneteenth weekend. So come on out. It is a I, as I will say, and Serious Business Radio sponsored event. It's not a town sponsored event. It's something that we do for the community, myself and ourselves. So please come on out. We'd love to see you there, and enjoy your summer. Enjoy the kids being out of school. Just come out and have fun. Thank you.
All right. Councilwoman Peterson?
I would like to thank everyone that came out to our second annual Pride event. Looking forward to the third. And I'd also like to welcome, I have some little gifts if anybody would like some after the council meeting. And that's it. Thank you for coming out.
Councilman Young?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Would like to say, well, first of all, good evening to everyone, and like to congratulate all of our seniors who graduated this year, the classes of 2025, for those at high school who are graduating, for colleges who are graduating, for the promoting classes of the middle schools and promoting classes of the elementary school going to the next grade. Congratulations. I know that you guys have worked hard for it. I know their parents have worked hard for it, and look forward to the upcoming year of celebrating them for the next graduating class. Also, too, we just got finished with May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month. Want to bring to the attention of the town that this is also, June is also PTSD Awareness Month also. So just to, and it's not just for military personnel who may be coming back, but just for anyone that may have experienced some sort of traumatic experience inside of their life, that just to, if you notice anything, to just ask or just to help them to seek help and seek therapy or seek any type of help they can get. But just make sure that you are aware of those things that go on inside of our community. And it's just, each one teach one, and one is there for one another. And just as Bishop Greer and his move to have unity in our community, look out for one another, love on one another. And really and truly, it should not be a moment or time where it's like, hey, I need help. I need some assistance with this. Don't take pride to the fact of saying that I don't need help with it, because you don't want that to turn into something, that could be harmful for you later on. So just be aware of your neighbors and everything around. And I thank you for your time. Thank you.
Councilman P?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to say happy June to everyone. As our children are slowly getting up out of school and everything. Again, I want to echo Councilman Young's. As our graduates are graduating, they're moving on to a bigger and better. We hope we support them in all endeavors. And as they move forward, please support our youth going that way. I want to say that we're having a lot of great events. That's my window and everything. We're doing very good. We had a nice Pride event. I stopped by there and I was surprised at the attendance that was there. It shows me a lot about what the things that we're doing here. Not only are we implementing these events for our citizens and surrounding communities to enjoy them, but we're having a great time as well. So I want to thank everyone for that, and staff also for putting these together. Mr. Ray Vines, you and your staff are doing an excellent job. As I'm paying attention to the numbers of last year, moving on to this year, they're growing. I like that part. So it just shows that we're moving in the right direction. I also want to give kudos to our vice mayor and pro temp for the expungement clinic. We had more attendees this go around. The word is getting out and about. I'm not for sure if we're doing another one towards the end of the year or not. Oh, is that a one-time thing? Okay, that's a one-time thing. Okay, so next year, get ready for it, because it's it can be beneficial to you as you move forward in your lively choices and everything. We have our Juneteenth coming up this month. It's something that I love that I wanted to bring to the town, because we were trying to, let's say, find out locations within our area, one of them being Manassas and Prince William County. But coming from work during out the weekday and during the week, and we have an event going on during the day, I don't want to drive up out of the town. So again, thank you, town manager and staff, for as well putting this Juneteenth event together. I would like to highlight that our Juneteenth of last year exceeded around 1,800 people in participation. That is amazing. That deserves a clap in its own. I'm talking about, guys, we're not just doing things in this town of Dumfries. We're bringing great attraction. As we said, we marked it. We said we were going to do it, and we're doing it. And thank you, citizens, for coming out to participate, because that's what we like. We want to see you guys have fun right here in your home and where you reside at. Also, one thing, town manager, moving on past the events, as I'm seeing during the rush hour time, sometimes when the mosque is over there that's across the street here, when they're letting their after the event's over, we have a little jam right there. Yes, ma'am, often. And I'll just see if we can reach out to them. Maybe they want to get some, PD involved with that to help them mitigate that traffic during that time frame. But it comes a little jambalaya over there, with a little bit of spice, So if we can just, give some attention on that, that would be helpful and everything also. So again, guys, if you haven't already, tune in to Dumfries Citizens Connect. Download it in your app store. It takes like 30 seconds to do this. Go to the 3-bar icon on the top left, Dumfries Citizens Connect in your app store or your Play Store. 3-bar icon on the left, create an account. Takes you like 30 seconds. And when we post events and things that are going on within the town, and for our citizens, if they see anything, they are able to utilize that to alert our staff here to pay attention to details that are within the town. Please use that app, because when we post events and matters like that, you guys will get it directly to your phone. And don't just read it. Come on out. Again, it was a mark from years ago of Destination Dumfries, and that's what this place is turning into. So get ready, because we got a lot in store for you guys. Thank you very much. And Mr. Mayor, I yield on that.
Well, thank you, Mr. Pete. Good evening, everyone, and thank y'all all for being here and staying engaged into the life of the town. To the business owner that came out to express your concerns about the bar being moved, we hear you. We're going to make sure that staff can sit down and address, and we will figure out how we are, as our goal as a council, as policymakers, as we're starting to review our ordinances, as we review our codes, not to create obstacles for our business owners, but to make the barriers for entry very clear, so that everybody knows what they have to do the first time, so you don't have to keep spending money going back and forth. So we hear you, we acknowledge you, and hopefully that we can make some corrective action. Stay around, because today on the agenda, we're talking about some great stuff today. We're talking about the plans for our 2044 comprehensive plan to show where we're going in the future. So that presentation is coming right behind this. We also going to talk about some great things on where we are with the Route 1 widening project and how that's going to impact. So those are two presentations following my remarks. As we step into June, like my colleagues, I want to congratulate all our recent high school and our college graduates for 2025. Whether you're stepping into the workforce or you're continuing your education, or some of you are still trying to figure out what you're going to do next, know that we here are proud of you. Know that your journey is just beginning and your future is bright as whatever you believe it to be. Also, I want to invite everybody to join us Thursday night for the annual State of the Town Address. This year's theme is a thriving Dumfries, and we're going to talk about progress, partnerships, and possibilities. It's not just about what we've done, but it's also about the possibilities of what we're unlocking together as a community. From the economic development to our clean audits to our growing community events, the infrastructure wins. We're writing a new chapter, as Bishop got up there and said earlier, in Dumfries. And so come and hear about all of the excitement things, a kind of a progress report. I'd be remiss tonight if life, I didn't stop and pause and honor the life and legacy of a man who was a good friend to the town of Dumfries, and that was Congressman Jerry Connolly. Last week, yeah, we have a last week we celebrated his life. There was a memorial for him. He was more than a representative. He was a friend to our town. He believed in small town leadership. He believed in representation of what a community. He believed in us. He always remembered Dumfries. He showed up for our Christmas parades, our Black History programs. He showed up to all of our events. As a matter of fact, the two of us got our real ID together downstairs in the DMV Select, and we had the commissioner bring a photo booth because we can't even do photo stuff, but the two of us got our real ID together downstairs at the DMV Select. So his support of Dumfries is always going to be remembered. He's an example to challenge us all to lead with purpose and humility. As the summer kicks off, so do so many of the opportunities to connect. Councilman Pete went through all of that, from Juneteenth to don't forget your fathers. This is a reminder that this is Father's Day. I know we don't get all the commercialization that the mothers get, but fathers matter. Should we start a hashtag? Fathers matter too. We matter. So don't forget Father's Day, right? To our vibrant event schedule, we got youth programs. There's something for everybody, and I encourage everybody to continue to lean in and participate, and also invite your neighbors. So don't just come along. Tell Lottie, Donnie, and everybody. And if you ever thought about how you could make a difference, here's how. Not only download the app, but also apply to serve on one of our town boards and commissions, whether it's the Planning Commission, our Economic Development Authority, or you want to just come volunteer to be a part of our community events. We need you. We need your voice at the table. Head to our website. There's a link up there for you to get involved. Dumfries doesn't just grow from the top down. It thrives from the inside out, and is powered by the residents in the community like you. So I'll leave you with this. My food for thought today is your only competition. This is for young people, old people, all alike. Is who you were yesterday. You're your only competition, who you were yesterday. Be better than be a better version of yourself today than you were yesterday. So every day, continue to get better. Let's keep building, let's keep dreaming, and let's continue to show the region what it means to rediscover Dumfries. Thank you, and I'll see you all Thursday night. All right? Yes. Yeah, we're going to presentation.
Yes. Just one thing there, Mr. Mayor. I want to give a special shout out to our Public Works Department. And I want to say that because if you guys ride around and see the Beautification with Love, something that we're marking around here is our new way of introducing some beautification within the town of Dumfries. Please give a round of applause to our Public Works Director and their staff for the beauty. Those flowers you see around town, that's part work of Mr. Nichols and his staff. So again, thank you all. And they bringing in the color. It wasn't just greenery, right? So that's a good thing. So again, thank you all. Enjoy the town of Dumfries, because it's going to be a place you want to be. Beautification going on everywhere with love. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. P. All right, our first presentation is Indigo. Indigo. Hopefully I said that right. Say again.
There we go. Am
Yes. Okay, there you are, Emily. Welcome to the town of Dumfries. The floor is now yours.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for allowing me to present today. I live in Richmond, so I drive around Dumfries quite often when I head up to DC. But I will stick to my time limit. I guess I'll just tell you when to go to the next slide. But I'm excited to introduce you to Indigov. So you can go to the next slide. What is Indigov? So IndiGov is a constituent relationship management platform and outreach platform, which is what I'm going to focus on tonight. It's created for public offices designed to increase the quality, speed, and reach of constituent service and engagement. Next slide. We are all over the country, from everywhere from the U.S. House of Representatives to governor's offices, state legislatures, mayors, towns, counties, agencies, all across the country. Next slide, please. So I'm going to run through a few of the platform highlights, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of a demo so you can actually see the platform and understand what it can do for you. Next slide. So within Outreach, IndiGov Outreach, we give you a zoomable map of the town of Dumfries that has your residents on there. So you're able to zoom in and see who you want to communicate with, maybe in a neighborhood, or you have an event coming up and you want to reach out to veterans. We enable you to do that and really communicate and get your residents to the events. And it sounds like you have so many events. And really drive that attendance. Next slide. It's very easy to build these outreaches, and I will show you this in the system, but you build it. It's called our WYSIWYG, What You See Is What You Get editor. It's drag and drop, insert your own images, surveys, countdown timers, everything right here. Next slide. In addition, the system has a lot of data and analytics. So you can see which of your communications are being opened. Are they, being read, clicked through? Is that a successful outreach? Maybe you want to change the wording in it for the next one. And so this kind of gives you the feedback and data in order to improve your communications with your residents. Next slide. I think that's it. Okay. Perfect. So can I share my screen on here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you should be able to.
Okay, I think I have it. Great. Can you see this?
Not yet.
Okay.
Give us one. So there it is.
Okay, perfect. So this is your outreach dashboard where it has all of the communications that you've sent to your constituents and residents, who you sent to, when, anything that you have scheduled that you might have upcoming, and any drafts that you're working on. So we'll go over here and we can build that group. So this is a demo account. That's why it's Grand Rapids. Yours would be of Dumfries. But as we zoom in, we can see everybody who lives here. And this gives us the ability with publicly available information to say, all right, we have an event for all of our veterans. And now we have a list of all of our veterans here. And maybe you say, well, this event is, happening at this park. So let's just do everybody within this radius of that park. And now we have our group right here. So we'll give it a name and we'll save this audience. Next, we can go and build that communication that you're going to send to them. I started it early, but so here we go. We have your logo in here. We have a countdown timer to an event that is taking place. You have one on the 21st, so it's in 17 days. You can insert different pictures, different, highlights about what's going to be taking place. You can put in a survey to say, do you think, will you be attending? And you can add that in here. So you can get an idea of who's going to be there. Does this day work for people? Whatever you want to add in here, and you can really get that two-way engagement from your constituents. You can change all of this once you have it ready to go. We go ahead and hit next, and we'll select that audience that we had just created. So that was our group right here that we created. And now we can send our email about the event on the 21st to that group. So our system allows you to really target your communications so that the people who need to hear from you about a specific topic are getting that information rather than sending it to everyone who it might not pertain to. You can really communicate with constituents about topics that matter and are important to them. Once you've sent everything out, you are also able to see more analytics. So how many were delivered, open rates, click-through rates. If you put a survey in, what the survey responses were and how people, replied to that. So it really gives you insight into, again, your communications with your residents. That is a very high level, quick overview of IndiGov outreach. It's very intuitive, very simple, but I wanted to open it up and see if you had any questions.
Yeah, Ellie, first of all, thank you for your patience. I know we had you scheduled a couple of weeks ago, but you came back. And you can just put Ellie up now. You can take the background screen off. Thank you. Hey, Ellie. Appreciate you taking the time to really come out and show us. Question, is this only registered voters, or does this system get to see everybody outside, or do they have to be a registered voter? So in the database.
Currently it's registered voters, but if you're interested in other, I think that's something that we could discuss and look into. But where we're pulling from is the voter base, USPS change of address registry. So if new people move to the town of Dumfries, we'd be able to send them a welcome to the town. Here are all of your resources that are available to you message.
So wait, do we get alerted when new people register in the town? Like the database would tell us, "Whoop, you got new people that just moved here"?
I think they would be flagged in the system. I have to check with my data team, but I know that it does update. And so then you can pull, people who have moved here within the past 30 days or something, and it will update for you and give you that list.
How often does it match for people that moved in and out of the community? So how accurate is it? Because say we have an important public hearing and we want every registered voter in town, now we just blast that whole database?
You can blast the whole database, correct. Yeah, if you wanted it to be something that's sent out to everybody. The data is updated about quarterly. So it's not daily, but it does get updated quarterly. You would be able to blast, the whole town, if we have their info.
Okay, Councilman Young.
Oh, well, actually, Councilman P had it first.
Okay, sorry, Councilman P.
Thank you there, Mr. Mayor, Councilman Young. Okay, so are you affiliated with the GoGov at all?
No.
Okay, so because what I see is almost a replica of a similar sense of what we already have and our Dumfries Citizens Connect, because we're able to do some moving around and upgrading like that. And what is there a cost with it? I mean, what is the cost on this here? Do you guys, can you provide that?
Yeah, I don't have it off the top of my head, but I'd be happy to put together something for you and send it over.
I would like to see if you can get that to our town managers to share with us, because right now, I don't know. But if we can do some price comparison, Ms. Town Manager, to see if one or the other, because I'm not in favor of having both. That just splits our town up again. I mean, one or the other, I would like to see. But if we can, we can bring back some more details and comparison of the two, I would like to see that. Yeah, so we can see, the best move for the town. Yeah, I think that's all I have. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Councilman Young.
Yes, Ellie, thank you again for the presentation. Got a quick question. For the collection of data and the removal of data from that particular database, would your company be involved in that, or is that something in which be automatically done? And how often is it recycled?
What do you mean the removal of it? And sorry, if you could clarify.
I apologize. With the question that Mr. Mayor posed was that when individuals move out of the town, how often is that, is it updated?
So that's the quarterly updates. So when the USPS change of address registry, notices that they move and they're registered in, Fairfax now or something, once that quarterly update comes through, then the data is updated.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Absolutely.
Town manager.
My question is, do citizens have the way to opt in and opt out of your system, just in case, some citizens don't like to be flooded with information? I just want to know how is that done and coordinated?
Yeah, absolutely. So anybody can opt out of any message. You also can have subscriber lists. So if you have something on your website and you want people to sign up, there are subscriber lists that people can opt into. But this could also be used, if there is road work going on in a neighborhood and you need to tell these people, they're not going to know, you don't want them to opt in to that because there's nothing to opt into, but you can alert them of what's going on. And then if they don't want to receive it, they can always opt out.
Thank you.
Yeah, what excited me about this, when I met the owner at the U.S. Conference of Mayors, it was right after the poll went down. And they showed me the grid, and they said we could have isolated to all the neighbors where the power went out, and you could have blasted a message, whether they opted in or not, and they could have known it was emergency alert. So when there's any weather, say that a neighborhood has a tree that goes down, nobody has to opt in. We already have a list in that database, and we're able to not. So this is not an app. Is that right, Ellie?
It is not an app. No, you can access it via the web.
We're not looking for nobody to submit public works requests or none of that other stuff. It's something totally different. It's what does CRM stand for? Contact, what is it?
So the CRM is the constituent relationship management.
So it's a tool to communicate and to get our community more engaged. So it's not an app at all. So it's two separate things. So GoGov is its own thing. That's our tool so people can communicate with us. This is a tool where we now can communicate with our entire universe of citizens and who moves in and out. And so it's a beautiful tool. Did I miss anything, Ellie?
No, that's absolutely correct. And that's the goal of it, is to create that more engagement. And, you guys have so much going on, and it's really getting the word out and getting more people to attend. And then in those different emergency situations, letting them know, hey, we know the tree is down, the crew's coming, they're working on it. Just wanted to let you know, we're on top of it.
And the owner told me it's about the cost of the recreation software. So, I'll let you talk to our town manager, and you can come back and bring us a presentation if council decides they are interested in this contact management. But thank you for your time today in this presentation. I definitely appreciate this. And you say the only people that get access to this is public bodies. So the regular everyday Joe citizen couldn't get access to the software.
No. We only sell to elected officials.
So this is safe. It's only can be brought by a public body. So nobody is getting everybody's information to be able to blast this. And so
Correct.
This is proprietary software that they have. Proprietary.
So-
Yeah.
so
Town
what-
manager.
I just want to make sure I understand. You said it's only sold to public officials, or is it sold to public localities? Just so I'm clear.
Elected officials, government officials. We do not
Okay,
sell to
Thank
campaigns,
you.
we don't sell to private. Yeah.
Okay.
Any
All
other
right.
questions? Feel free to email me, but thank you for the time.
Have a great one. All right. Our next presentation is going to be from our Brownfield project consultant, and it'll be an update about 3800 Graham Park and the Campbell property. Woohoo! So who we bringing up? Mr. Nichols, we'll bring you up and you can introduce, and the floor will be yours.
My name is James Nichols. I'm the Public Works Director, and wanted to give a few updates on the Brownfield project as a whole, but then also wanted to introduce our newest partners in the project, which is Stantec/Peer Environmental Consulting. Currently, the first property is the Campbell salvage yard. I was trying not to say it, but the salvage yard. We're in the process of closing on that. We're waiting still on DEQ to work with the current owners on resolving their VRP application. Excuse me. In that process, there's 5 steps that they need to go through, which is your voluntary participation, the site assessment, the risk-based cleanup standards, which is a risk management plan that they had to submit. They're currently on number 3, and to my understanding in meetings with the Campbell brothers, they're very close to getting that wrapped up with DEQ. They're waiting on comments back from DEQ as to their cleanup plan and mitigation. Next is the number 4, which is the protection and cleanup. Then number 5 would be the certification of completion on the property. Right now, we don't really have a good understanding of where they are on that yet, but from my understanding, last 2 weeks ago, they met with DEQ and they're pretty close to getting that wrapped up. Once that's done, we could go forward with the final closing on the property and have that closed out for us. The 3800 Graham Park Road, which is your Clive Washington Rec Center, we've bumped that up in priority with Stantec and Peer to start getting that process moving forward, and they'll go into that a little bit more in their presentation. But right now, I just wanted to introduce them, Joe Maurice, and Ricardo, say your last name, Martinez, yes, with Stantec, and Dr. Abram with Peer could not be here. We were trying to get her on the link. She was having some trouble getting connected.
All right. Thank you. We're excited, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols, and thank you, Council and Mayor, for having us today. We're really excited to start this project and start working with the town on the EPA multipurpose brownfields grant. So just as an introduction, again, I'm Joe Maurice. I'm a principal with Stantec Consulting based down the road in Ashland. I've been working with brownfields for over 20 years. And my goal here is to kind of manage the project and deliver the best value for the town in the EPA, to kind of meet your goals and make sure we stay within the constraints of that EPA brownfield grant. One of the reasons, talking about bringing value to town, we decided to partner with Peer Consultants, an organization that we've worked with in the past that has provided excellent service. And as Mr. Nichols mentioned, Ricardo is with me today, and I'll just have him briefly introduce himself, and then I'll continue.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Ricardo Martinez. As you know, I'm the Director of Environmental Services at Peer, and I'm glad to work with Stantec on this important project. I think the 2 properties have a lot of potential to serve the community and also improve the conditions of living in the area.
So again, just to briefly introduce Stantec Consulting, we're a global engineering firm, do everything from energy to environmental to civil, large, small projects. But I'm proud to be part of our brownfields team. We have a national brownfields team that works with communities across the country. We've served over 450 communities, bringing millions of dollars to those communities to help solve brownfield problems. I'm the lead for the kind of the East Coast, but I really concentrate in Virginia. And the map kind of shows I've worked with communities across the state. And for the past 7 years, I've been the principal brownfield consultant for Virginia Department of Environmental Quality. The state agency itself receives grants from the EPA, and I help them with the implementation of those grants. So I'm very familiar with these grants. I've been worked with all types of grants and know the ins and outs of what can be done with those funds. And again, I'll let Pierre or Ricardo introduce Pierre.
Well, our company specializes in environmental assessments. We have worked a long time with compliance, not very often with EPA, but mostly with the OEE and the surrounding area agencies, WSSC, DC Water. They have trusted us with some of their work. So we are experienced with that. And we have also helped other commercial entities to get clean their sites and put them on the standard for whatever the land use is allowed there.
Thank you. And whenever I'm talking in public about brownfields, I always want to start off with the definition. Brownfields can have a negative connotation to it, and it really shouldn't. It's a very broad definition, and EPA defines it as any real property, the expansion, redevelopment, or reuse of which may be complicated by the presence or potential presence of hazardous substance, pollutant, or contaminant. And the key words in that definition are the presence or potential presence. It doesn't actually have to be contaminated. Just because you're calling it a brownfield doesn't mean the site is contaminated. Often it just looks kind of bad. It's vacant, it's underutilized, it's overgrown, or people are afraid of it just because of the known past use. It used to be a gas station or a dry cleaner or industrial site. And so a lot of times people look at those properties and they think the issues are much greater than they actually are. And that's why it's always important to go through that due diligence period and assessment to figure out, okay, is there really a problem with this property? And if it is, what's the size of the problem? What's the quantity or the cost of remediation? Because often, like I said, people overestimate those things. So just because we're talking about brownfields in the community doesn't mean that or shouldn't mean that it's a negative. These are really sites that are opportunities for redevelopment. These are sites that were productive in the past and can be productive once again, or a benefit to the community. So your multi-purpose grant that you received from EPA is very flexible. You can do, it has a range of activities that are eligible, from just your programmatic activities of managing the grant, but also community outreach, because we know every important project that's implemented needs to have community support. Because it's an EPA program, one of the key anchors of the program is environmental assessment, and that grant allows you to do any type of environmental assessment needed, whether it's just your standard phase 1, phase 2 kind of sampling sites, to wetlands delineations, endangered species, cultural natural resources surveys. Anything and everything that's kind of needed for environmental assessment is eligible under the grant. And then if you do find there's some contamination, well, we can go move on to cleanup planning. We can figure out what exactly needs to be done. What's the appropriate cleanup for the intended reuse? Because you don't always clean up a property to pristine conditions. You want to make sure it's safe for its intended reuse. So if it's an industrial reuse, then your cleanup standard is going to be a lot lower than if it's a residential reuse. So it all depends on that. And that's why you can also do reuse planning with the grant, because it's important to know what that property is going to be, and so that you can make informed decisions about the cleanup. And then what's special about your grant is it's a multi-purpose grant. So you actually have funds that allow you to do cleanups on properties that the town owns and is not responsible for. And so there's a little bit of eligibility there, and it's limited to town-owned properties. Unfortunately, we can't, help private property owners, but there's other options for them that we can explore. And that's kind of part of that cleanup planning too. We can come up with strategies to help other properties figure out how they're going to achieve a cleanup or a redevelopment. So we'll get into that a little bit in a second. This is just a kind of a schedule that's we kind of laid out based on other grants. It's kind of hard to read, obviously, on this screen, but it kind of just shows this is a 4-year grant. We've got a lot of time to work through all these processes. You'll see that a lot of activities are kind of front-loaded because we're going to be addressing 2 priority properties right off the bat. The 3800 Grant Park Road and the Campbell property. And so a lot of this stuff's going to change, and we're also not beholden to this schedule. This schedule is flexible. We know we have to be adaptable to the community's needs. And so as council and town staff direct us, we'll be able to adapt and do it. And the good news is the grant itself is flexible. It's, EPA understands that a town's priorities change over the course of 4 years. And so, what might be a priority now might not be in the future, or a future property might turn up to be a high priority that you need to jump on and shift funds to do that. So you've got that flexibility to move it. So this will be kind of a living schedule. And as we move through the grant, we'll adjust as necessary to kind of accomplish the goals of the town. So more importantly, what are we doing in the next 30 to 60 days? Because, we're just now hitting the ground running. We're getting started. So right now we're taking care of some administrative things. One of the things EPA requires is a quality management plan that should be submitted by the town before we can do any type of assessments. And that just ensures that, you're going to be collecting data in accordance with EPA standards. That has been submitted to EPA. It's passed our first review. Our EPA project manager has reviewed it and approved it, and has been forwarded on to the EPA Quality Assurance Department. It can take a little bit longer to review, but it's going to be under review now, and hopefully we'll get an answer back here pretty soon and get approval to begin with that. Next, we'll also be establishing a memorandum of understanding with Virginia DEQ in the town that basically says that we're going to adopt DEQ's quality assurance project plan, which is a whole different thing than the quality management plan, but it's an EPA requirement. And that allows us to have when we move to that phase 2 environmental site assessment where we're collecting soil and groundwater samples, that the review that EPA is going to do is going to be much quicker. And then we also have some reporting requirements that we're taking care of this week that we're working with the EPA project manager on. Next, we're going to start, once we get all those approvals, we're going to start on site assessment. And, the number one priority here is that we need to get a phase 1 environmental site assessment done on the Campbell property. As soon as they get their VRP wrapped up, we're going to get that phase 1 done before the town acquires the property, because we don't want the town to acquire the property and make it ineligible for future grant funding or even this existing grant funding. So we'll make sure we get that phase 1 done so that, the town acquires it and they're, declared a non-responsible party for that, and they have that circle of defense. Second, we're going to just secure additional funding to do some assessment of the 3800 Grant Park Road building. Unfortunately, that property is ineligible for assessment under this grant because it is considered a town-owned property where the town could be considered a responsible party because of how you acquired it way back in the past. And I think there's a underground storage tank that the town's been using or Public Works has been using that's on the property operating. And so that kind of makes it ineligible. But the good news is Virginia has a Virginia Brownfields Assistance Fund that requires a 1-to-1 match, but the dollars we spend under this grant, this EPA grant, counts as the match to that VBAF. So we'll be able to tap into that VBAF grant to then do the assessment there. Should I continue, or am I time up?
Did you have more? Oh,
I just got one. I want to talk real quick about the redevelopment planning.
Go ahead.
And then right now we're jumping right into the redevelopment planning for 3800 Grant Park Road, and then eventually Grant Park property. And we begin that with interviewing town staff, and shortly we'll be contacting the clerk to set up interviews with town council to kind of get some feedback on those 2 properties, and that will be incorporated into eventually an area-wide plan. But that's just the first step in the process. And the arrow at the bottom kind of shows you that lays out the process. We're going to do the interviews, a needs analysis, and then start into that truly community engagement portion where we're surveying the community. We'll hold a charrette. We'll kind of come up with design ideas and things like that on potential reuses of Grant Park first, and then Campbell property, and then if we need to look at other properties, we'll do that and incorporate it into an area-wide plan. That's the short of it. Sorry.
No, thank you for, first of all, making sure that we all are clear and understand what a brownfield is, because that's always the biggest misconception that the community has. What is a brownfield? So you took very care in making sure you explained that with the potential contaminants. I love the word that you used there. Two, there's a young lady here who is concerned about seeing 3800 Grant Park because it's her namesake. So I'm glad she's here to hear that Mr. Nichols said you're going to accelerate that property because it's going to be named after a very loving family member there. So I'm glad you have explained that accelerated timeline. She's here to see it. Mr. Young, the floor is yours.
Well, actually, Peter.
Listen, you don't keep your little boy. I'll stop giving it. Councilman Fields.
I went first. Sorry.
Okay. Sir, thank you for your presentation. If you would please, who's ever directing the slides, go back to your definition of brownfields, please. Again, from what the mayor says, I'm very, very up to speed and knowledgeable on brownfields. I've been following it long before it came to the town of Dumfries and us getting that grant because of some of the communities across America. Not so good things has come out of some of these brownfields to not the best outcome for the residents of that time and that era. So yes, I've been following it for a long time. It's great that you explain it the way you explain it. It's great that you've laid out every aspect of what we're going to have going forward. You uncovered every question that I may have had and uncovered every stone or rock that I may have had along with that also. Being knowledgeable of it, I was also proud to be able to talk about this and how we have this at our Congressional City Conference that we had in DC back in March. I took it on and championed explaining the benefits of having a Brownsfield grant in your community. And if your community needed it, it's definitely out there to get. So Dumfries should be very happy and proud that we are making good use of these properties that we've acquired over the years, and especially the past couple of years, that it could really be treated correctly. I'm one who used to be in the business of dealing with contaminated materials. And like I said, I know a lot. So let's just say we are very fortunate to have a team as we have, citizens of the town of Dumfries, to take care of these properties in the best of ways and with the most positive outcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Pete.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just real brief. You said that we were waiting on a grant because the 3,800 didn't fit. We were waiting on the grant. What was the name of that grant again, sir?
It's called the Virginia Brownfields Assistance Fund, and it's a partnership between the Virginia Economic Development Partnership and Virginia DEQ. And Virginia EDP runs it, and you can, if you want to look it up, it's vedp.org/brownfields.
Say again?
VEDP, Virginia Economic Development Partnership.org/brownfields.
Okay, and my last, Is there any time frame on approval for them, or are we just waiting?
So we haven't actually submitted it yet. We're working on that. It is a rolling application process.
Okay.
Generally takes about a month to get approved once you submit. They have biweekly meetings, and I think it usually takes about 2 meetings for them to.
So we're at the stage of drafting everything up so we can submit. Okay, thank you. Thank you much.
And there's budgetary requirements from us. It's a 1-to-1 match. Is that correct?
That's correct. But what we spent, so for instance, all the planning activities that we're going to do related to 3,800.
No, I just want to make sure I put it out there so that we know that there's budgetary. There's a 1-to-1 match. See the town manager shaking her head. She wants to know that there's money requirement in part of it. So,
But not from the town, I'm saying.
No.
Okay,
When
I
it's
just want to
time
make
to
sure you
match-
understand.
once we get the grant.
Oh.
So, Councilman Young.
Yes, sorry. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Are there any previous projects in which you worked on in the past that we can, and our constituents can look at and see exactly what the success stories were or anything of that nature? So that way they can visually look at and see exactly, okay, we're going with the Stantec and Pier to see exactly what you guys have done in the past for various communities.
Yes, and in fact, I guess included in our proposal, we actually had some project descriptions that I think the town manager can share directly with you. There's, I wish I could point you right to a website, but we're working on updating our website with the project descriptions so that they could be easily, right now, if you go and search on Stantec, you're going to get projects from all over the country and not easily searchable. And so soon we'll have an update where you can like pick on Virginia and see the projects in Virginia. But I can also just share some examples that I'll share with the town manager that she can share with you guys on those projects.
Is there any off the top of your head?
Oh, yeah, sure. We're working, so one of the big projects I'm working on right now is down in Danville. The old Dan River Mills that's right there on the riverfront. White Mill, if you're familiar with Danville at all, there's a huge mill building, white mill building right on the river in downtown. It's been sitting vacant for 2 decades. And we started work on it. It's been a long process, about 5 years ago. And developers now, or has opened apartments in it. And it's going to be kind of 2/3 apartments and 1/3 commercial development. And then in conjunction with that, the city is developing a riverfront park with changing the old mill canal that ran in front of the building into a whitewater feature. And so we've been intimately involved with all that, not only on the assessment side, but also helping them through the voluntary remediation program and getting their certificate of completion and liability protections, and the city's not responsible for it, and then helping them through with some of the planning efforts.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you. Mr. Mayor.
So what was the accelerated timeline on the 3,800 from the Campbell Salvage Yard? Give us, because the biggest thing is, would best case scenario, money isn't an issue, all of that stuff. When will we be able to see it? Because I got people that say they want to see it in their lifetime and they want to be able to see. So I want to make sure they hear clearly this timeline. And I don't have to answer the question.
Well, of course, I can't give you a definitive date of when we're going to, open the new facility. But this accelerated time frame is right now. We just started the planning process. So we plan on, trying to move quickly on that and get to that community engagement stage, really by sometime July, August, depending on, summer's always not the best time for community engagement, but we want to make sure it happens. And so, depending on the feedback we get and kind of with staff and council, and then that community engagement, we want to move quickly into kind of the design phase. And, our goal always is to come up with a phased design so that things can be implemented as funding arrives. So, not only do we come up with a reuse plan for the site or for, an area, we also look at, all right, what can be accomplished in different phases, what's number one, what's number two, and then also looking at a funding strategy of what grants are available or what funding sources are available to accomplish those phases.
So I guess if I can give a clear, more definitive question, then how soon could you give us the phasing so we can see the phasing?
Our goal is by the end of August that we would have something, a plan in place that.
That's beautiful. And, I just want to add on to what Councilman Fields was talking about earlier with brownfields, especially this multi-purpose brownfield grant. There were only 2 localities in all of Virginia that got this multi-purpose grant. The multi-purpose brownfield grant is the most difficult one to get, but to Stantec's point, once you get it, it opens the door to us to be able to get any other type of grants that's out there. So it gives us an easier path because we got this multi-purpose grant. A lot of the projects that I've seen at brownfield sites that we visit, matter of fact, the Brownfield Conference was held last year in a hotel, a historic hotel. That was, what was the name of the hotel? Was that Roanoke or was it in?
It was in Lynchburg.
Lynchburg.
And I'm trying to remember. I don't remember the name of the hotel though.
But the hotel was converted. It was apartments, hotel, and then it was converted into a hotel again. And it was a brownfield site that they really did. And so it's some amazing things that they can do with brownfields. And so to be able to take advantage of this, we thank you for coming on board. We're looking forward to having that accelerated time frame of having this done with the community engagement and everything, so we can have a phased approach by August. That's going to be our push. This has been something that the community has been looking to be tangible. It's hard sometimes to explain the time frame and the length that it takes to get stuff done. Yes. People oftentimes see government and they think that we're creating all of these barriers and that we don't want stuff done. But the truth is we want stuff done just as fast as the community want it done. And so we're just trying to show you and be transparent so that you can see the entire process. So if there aren't any other questions, any final remarks you want to leave us with?
No, just thank you again for this opportunity. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to doing good things in the town of Dumfries.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. With that said, I need to give my council a 5-minute stretch break because they've been sitting for over an hour. It's part of our healthy eating, active living initiative that we get up and we stretch. So with that said, please set the timer for 5 minutes and we'll be right back. All right. Next on our agenda is a presentation and an update on the world famous Town of Dumfries Route 1 highway. It's our Route 1 realignment project, and so we're excited to have been able to partner with Prince William County to do this project. This project first came on the books in Dumfries in 1999 when they first started looking at really looking at how do we widen Route 1, and then there was a big project through the whole county to widen it. Then we had the housing crisis in 2008, 2009. There was no funding source. Dumfries had been applying. And finally, in 2018, Northern Virginia Transportation Authority gave us $130 million on this project. A couple years later, we went to Smart Scale because we knew that there were going to be TARFs and the prices was going to go up at some point. So we got another $80 million in funding from the state in Smart Scale money. And so now we're at this point and we're going to get an update on the White One widening project. Mr. Rick, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mayor Woods, council members. My name's Rick Canizales. I'm the Director of Transportation for Prince William County. Mayor Woods had great introduction to the project. We've been working on this with the town back for the last 4 or 5 years now, and making sure that we put agreements in place and everything was in place to be able to accomplish this for both the town and VTA and VDOT. So as the Mayor mentioned, we are funded through the Northern Virginia Transportation Authority as well as VDOT. This is a federalized project, so patience is a virtue on these kind of things. And as you have seen it, we obviously VDOT took a little bit with the design. We took that design over. We kind of completed the design. We're into right away. You see us buying properties out there. You might be hearing from some of your property owners out there. I know that we're working with Mr. Nichols and all the property acquisition and all the design work that we're doing out there to make sure the town continues to keep aware. And as I came back last year, we promised to come here periodically to give you an update. Once we get into construction, it'll be even more periodically just to make sure that the maintenance of traffic and what's going on with your citizenry as we're going through construction gets taken care of. So with that said, behind me today is Wynham Gwynn, who is our project manager for this project. He's in charge of the design. We'll be looking forward to the project. He'll talk you through our update and what we have, and I'll sit here, and when we get to the questions, I'll be getting back up and answering some questions for you. Wynham? Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Rick, for the introduction. My name is Huainan Nguyen. I'm a principal engineer with Prince William County Department of Transportation, and I'm happy to be here tonight to present to you the Route 1 Fraley Boulevard widening project. So just a quick recap of this project for those who may be watching and aren't aware. We are widening Route 1 Fraley Boulevard in the town of Dumfries throughout the entire town. The ultimate condition will be 6 lanes, 3 in both directions. And shown on the graphic here is a layout of how it will be. The portions in blue are currently 4 lanes and will be widened to 6 lanes. The portions in orange are currently the northbound part of Fraley Boulevard, northbound direction, and those will be widened from 2 lanes existing to 6 lanes total. And then the part in green is going to be converted to local traffic only. So that will be two-way, 2-direction, and just for local traffic. So the main traffic will be using Fraley Boulevard. The project purpose, of course, is to reduce congestion in the town, also to add pedestrian connectivity for the town and for people using Fraley Boulevard in this corridor. The funding is listed there. We have funding from different sources mentioned before, NVTA, Smart Scale. The total amount of that funding is around $180 million. So this is a very big project. This is the project schedule. So in the past, in 2018, VDOT held a design public hearing, and in 2022, after Prince William County took over administration, we held a virtual information meeting to update residents about what's going on in this project. We started right away in 2023, and where we are now, we are looking at starting utility relocations. That will be starting later, hopefully in August. We're trying to finalize things so we can get the utility companies out there. some of the utility companies, for example, Dominion, they have facilities throughout the entire corridor. And so they're going to take the bulk of that time period. That's why it's such a long time. But we do have other utilities move as well, and we're going to do our best to try to get everyone out there so we can get to construction. Construction is scheduled for 2028. We do, because this is a federal project, we do have to get authorization for construction. And so that includes finalizing all the right-of-way, clearing all the utilities, and then going through VDOT and central office for authorization. And so the project will be advertised, it's planned to be advertised in January 2028 with construction by the end of 2031, ending by the end of 2031. So this is a quick list of our communications with the community and our community engagement. Besides the 2 public meetings, we also have continuous communication with the properties affected as part of right-of-way negotiations. We've met with them on site. We've met with them at the county. We've also had multiple virtual meetings with them. And we've tried to listen to all of their concerns and try to address them as best we can and make sure that, you know, they're affected by this project, but they are compensated and accommodated as best as possible. We've had a lot of meetings with our developers. There's a lot of developments going on within the town, and we want to make sure that our project and their project will fit together so that it can just, you know, be more seamless for the town. So this is several websites where you can look at to find out about the project. So the VDOT website has a lot of information, mostly from when VDOT was administering the project. They do link you to both the county website and the town website where you can find more updated information. And you can also contact both the town and the county if you have questions for any residents out there. So the right-of-way acquisitions. So this project is very large. It has 113 properties that are impacted and a bunch of total acquisitions. Right now we're moving through the process. We're actually towards the tail end of it, and we've recorded 39 offers that were accepted. We have 4 more that are waiting to be recorded, and so once those are recorded, we'll have those property rights too. For the 55 that were refused, those went through the COT, certificate of take process. And so we do have access to those while they're continuing negotiations. And so that won't be any delay to the project. Scott Hatton's information there. Mr. Scott Hatton is our right-of-way manager on this project. And so for any people who have right-of-way concerns, they can contact him at that contact information. And there's several parcels that are publicly owned, including 3 from the town of Dumfries that are scheduled to be dedicated, I believe at this meeting, to this project for VDOT maintenance once this project's complete. So for project reviews, we have right-of-way level plans that have been approved, and our project design is basically trying to finalize some comments from review agencies and also incorporating changes that come up through right-of-way negotiations. And so we are working on that, and we're planning to submit construction level plans in May 2026. We are working on it, but we're not like actively working every single day from now until then. It's mostly just cleaning things up and addressing comments and finalizing things between now and then. So wanted to mention this project has incorporated, it is going to be disruptive to this town, and because of that, we are incorporating a lot of strategies to try to minimize the impacts during construction. For all the businesses that are impacted, we have been coordinating with them for right-of-way negotiations. We're incorporating their requests as far as like access and hours, and we're including that as special provisions in the project so that when the contractor starts working, that they must abide by those and maintain access and maintain hours for these businesses. As far as lane closures go, there will be lane closures only off-peak hours. So during rush hours, during the peak hours, there will be as many lanes as there are existing, most cases 2 lanes. There are going to be plenty of signs available, and we're planning to do plenty of alerts to the public whenever we do any kind of construction work that is potentially disruptive. These last couple of slides, I'll just go over them pretty quickly. They are the construction phasing that we've developed with our consultant. And so this is a large project, and we have split it into several phases to try to ease construction. The first phase is shown in purple there, and that is widening the Fraley Boulevard to the west side of the road, and this occurs south of Canal Road. In phase 2, once we finish that widening, we're going to shift traffic onto there and then widen the other side, the east side. And so that way we'll have more space to work, and we can work on widening the east side, and that's in blue. Phase 3 will be widening on the west side of Route 1 north of Canal Road. We'll also complete work on Graham Park Road. That's shown in orange. Phase 4 is completing construction at 2 intersections of Quantico Gateway and Route 1, and at Canal Road and Route 1. So these 2 intersections, all right. These 2 intersections, they have probably the most change through this project. Like their final configuration at the end of this project will be the most changed from what it is now. And so after we finish a lot of construction, we'll have more room to shift traffic and go back in and work on these areas. So that's the area shown in green. Those are those 2 intersections. And like I said, those will have the biggest change in the configuration, and it'll be the area that needs a lot of like specialized work. So that gets its own phase. And the last phase is shown in purple here, and this is the end of the project where we are shifting traffic onto where we widened previously. We are installing cul-de-sac at the end of Main Street near Quantico Gateway, and that's going to turn that into the local road so you no longer can go through it. And we're also going to finalize median construction. So we've built the road. We have a lot of pavement to work with, and now that we're able to shift people to the final lanes, we're going to go back and construct the medians. So that is a quick overview of our project. That is my contact information. You can contact me, email, phone. You can also come visit our office if you have any questions. Be happy to answer any right now, and also after this meeting if there are any. Thank you.
Thank you for that thorough update, and just want to say to those in both the Knowles of Dumfries and Tripoli that this design is done. We are on the utility and the property acquisition. This has been a long process. Everybody didn't get what they wanted in the design of this project, but it's the project that's the most efficient. I can say that my community isn't happy with the cul-de-sac at the end because they feel like they'll be disconnected. But this is the best project to continue to move the town forward. A lot of people aren't happy that they got to make a right to come out of their house, but this is the design. And so the design of this project is done. Is that right, Rick?
It is done for the most part, sir. As Juan mentioned, we are still looking at making small design changes to accesses to existing properties as we go through the right-of-way process. That is a negotiated thing with a lot of property owners, the way they access their property, where they want curve returns, all that kind of stuff, where they want parking. So we work with them as that goes. As those changes happen through the right-of-way process, we add them to the plan. But for the most part, the major design elements of the project, what's happening at the intersections, what's happening with the access to the major roadways, and what's happening with the road is already designed.
Okay, got it. Councilman Pete.
Well, you answered one of my questions. Great presentation. Great presentation. It was well keyed to detail there. Just 2 concerns here. Well, 1 concern maybe. Do you guys have a better visual of the diagram for the construction phasing?
We can give you a bigger visual. We have the plan set that shows that, so we can send you the actual plan set that shows that, and you can see it in, you can get close up, get far away, look at it as you want to. So we'll get you that information. We'll send that to Mr. Nichols, and he can send it out to.
Perfect.
Needed.
Okay, so one more. And I did hear that some road closures are final, and there are also options of moving some additionals within the plan. I'm always key into this right away coming out of Tripoli, right? I've been speaking on this for a long time here now, right? And so my concern there has always been, has there been any attention to additional light there for a censored light? They don't come out of there often for the citizens to make a left. So what I gathered last year, that upon the widening, that making the right to go down to Possum Point's light to make a U-turn was the safest route for that position there. I raised the concern of how does our seniors that live on Tripoli, how does that make it easier for our citizens to not, first we had to cross 2, now we're being asked to cross 3. And that is a major concern with me until I get a final, it's over, it's done. I may continue to address this because I'm a safety first guy, right? So I'm always looking at the safety of it. And I get it. I can shoot out there across 3 lanes to get into the left lane to go down to make a U-turn. But when I turn around and look at my residents, and half of them are seniors that live on my street there of Tripoli, on Tripoli, I have concerns, ongoing concerns, because I bring this up often of our citizens being able to make that left turn there because it was cut off. And I just wanted to know, is there any attention? Because I'm hearing that you guys are making some adjustments to certain things. So in my window, I got to fight to the end, right? Because I definitely care about those citizens that are on that road there. So, I mean, maybe not an answer for now, but if we can look into it and see.
Councilman Pete, I'll tell you right now, the answer to your question is going to be no. We're not going to be putting up a signal at Tripoli.
Okay.
That the design has gone beyond that point, like was mentioned. There's design exceptions to that because the signal's too close to the other signal. The other intersection has larger volume, so it's asking for the signal more, and you can't put the next signal that close up to what's happening. So what we have the situation up and down Route 1. I have built Route 1 basically with VDOT from that bridge all the way down to Featherstone, and we have these situations all over the place where we have these neighborhoods that have been used to having full access to the road through a non-divided roadway, and then you come in with a divided roadway, 6 lanes, and if you can't put a signal there, which VDOT's not going to allow me to put a signal there, I can't let those people come out through 6 lanes of traffic to try to make that left, right? So I have to look at my best practices to get the best safety solution with what's allowable with the standards and with the standards in this situation, because where the next signal is, it only allows us to create a partial movement for Tripoli. One more.
Mr. Nguyen.
Yeah.
You hold on one second, Mr. Yu, because we can move on from there, because he just cleared up concern. He just answered my whole thing there. That made a lot of sense to me right there, of you not being able to shoot across the 6 instead of that made a lot of sense. So thank you for the clarity on that, because I've been on this topic. Everybody's like, Pete, it's over with. But me, I'm a fighter to the end, you know.
And we want to make sure that you understand why the decisions were made and how, because safety is first for us too. Right. I mean, when we're looking at a road, we're looking at building a safe road for the motoring public. That is our main concern. So we're looking at some of the same issues you do. Sometimes we have to make calls because the standards don't allow us to do what we want to do. Correct. So
tracking. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the clarity. That only thing I need is the visual on this document.
We'll make sure we get that to you.
Thank you again. Thank you, Mr. Nguyen, and great presentation, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Councilman Young.
Yes, sir. Thank you again for the presentation. Quick question. For our constituencies in the Town Square, Highland Park townhomes, currently right now, they're right across from the current VDOT area.
Sandlot.
Sandlot. And they come out there on the 2 lanes. When that increases to 6, where exactly are they just going to go down to 6, or how exactly is that? Because in your demonstration, what you just been saying was that it was going to be somewhat of a cul-de-sac area that's there?
That's what I was mentioning. I'm not exactly sure the neighborhood you're talking about, but if you're talking over by Quantico
It's the
Center,
first one coming into
past
the town of
Grand
Dumfries.
Park in front of the VDOT district.
No. So it's on the north side of Route 1 coming up from Quantico. As soon as you pass Brady's Hill,
Yeah.
it's that new development right past Brady's Hill, directly across. So it's on the north side of Route 1.
Okay.
So the south side is where the cul-de-sac is going to be up by Quantico Gateway.
Correct.
So that's coming out of Noza Dumfries. So those people in Noza Dumfries will be cul-de-sac. And so you'll be connected into Route 1. The south side will be Main Street. It will become the town of Dumfries artillery. And so they will be cul-de-sac and can't come nowhere. Ideally, if this project, they could have took the VDOT and then had a connecting road, then we could have had some connectivity if that was a.
We can't take VDOT. So just wanted to make sure we got that one on in.
Throw that out.
So that actually acts, it brings about another question as to what takes place is that 6 lanes is there, 3 going north, 3 going south.
Yes.
What happens to those residents that's there as they come in home from work and there's nothing else? How are they getting into their community? That's not good.
Well,
The pause.
yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to get my bearings too. I think there are a lot of places where residents can U-turn, and so.
Can we go back to the graphic perhaps, and then you can.
That's what I was looking at on there for several, trying to see exactly which one it was.
You can just pick one of those and.
Don't have the greatest. You're talking near, you said near Brady's Hill?
And so if you go back, I think it's in phase 4. Let me see.
So my guess is to the left. To the left of communities.
And if in the back, you can blow it up a little bit.
Oh,
So, yeah.
This would be a little bit easier answer where like a engineering table.
Yeah, it seems, if we're talking about the, like we said, I'm sorry, let me get up to the microphone, sorry. If it's the neighborhoods that we're talking about coming in from Quantico, if we're going north on Route 1 and it's on my right-hand side as I'm approaching, those people will have, like we mentioned in the same, I believe from what I can see up there, it is a right in, right out into their neighborhoods and making U-turns at the next intersections if they want to go southbound from their neighborhood. If they want to go north, they can come out north. If they're coming from the south to north, they can get right in their neighborhood. But if they're coming in, I believe, if they're trying to go back south, they're going to have to take a right and do the same movement that was just spoken to about with Councilman Pete.
They have to go all the way down for 3 lanes going south to make a U-turn and come back up.
What do you all with a fire station is that?
Right.
So that's what we do now currently, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, okay. Thank you.
And what we can do, and I'm not sure if it's there already, is a lot of times in the Route 1 corridor, what VDOT has been allowing a right, left in to the property. So we can have a left into the property and take a look at that kind of stuff, but they won't allow a left out because that's
No,
a
that's fine.
dangerous
That's
movement
fine.
that comes out to those 6 lanes that I was speaking about earlier.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just
So we'll
thinking-
take a look and see if that's something that it was made possible there, or if it can be made possible there.
Okay.
We'll take a quick look at that.
Okay, thank you.
It's a good point because I didn't look at that too when we were doing the design, I didn't look at that development.
Yeah, I didn't catch that because I was such at the bookend that I didn't catch that. So yeah, we'll take a look at that
Me
too.
either. That's why when he brought it up, I didn't know it. I didn't know the answer. All right, Councilman Fields.
This is easy to me. I don't know why everybody's squawking about U-turns and right turns and left turns. It's very, I love reading maps, but it's easy to me, but I appreciate it. Y'all give me that look, right? Okay.
Just trying to figure out how our residents are going to get home, that's all.
That's all.
Because they're going to ask the questions.
Like I told Councilman, just a simple U-turn. That's all it is.
Well, not exactly from three lanes going, 3 lanes coming, and it's not exactly easy.
And from, because I knew this was gonna come up, so I actually did the measurements myself. So coming out of certain areas, especially to Councilman Pete's measurement, I would say 1/8 a mile is a pretty long time to drive. You know, short distance, but long enough to cross 3 lanes. It's over 1/8 a mile long,
Correct.
just shy of a 1/4 mile coming from that intersection to the next one.
We are meeting VDOT weave standards and all the U-turn movements that are coming up.
And the next one, to get to the next U-turn, is well more than 1/8 mile, moves
Right.
to a 1/4 mile as well too. So I think that's plenty of time to drive 1/8 mile to a 1/4 mile to change lanes.
Yes, sir. Again, that is something that we look at standard-wise. VDOT looks at weave analysis for us.
Right.
Yeah.
1/8 mile to a 1/4 mile, sir. You can get pretty fast in the 1/8 mile, you know that, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Listen, again, we thank y'all for
Thank you so much.
your partnership and what we've been able to accomplish. Again, I know that you can't take VDOT's property, but it would have been great to have that in the design. As we move into this next presentation with our comprehensive plan, one of the challenges is going to be connectivity as we deal with building our Main Street, and we're disconnecting our Main Street from our Route 1 community. And so because of that, VDOT, and there's no connectivity down there. So this would be a great conversation as we move into the comp plan. You got another Route 1 question, Mr. Pete?
This is actually for town manager, because what I'm hearing is that we may have a chance of some available space after this is done.
What you talking about, Willis?
Don't worry about it. I see it. Don't worry about it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Don't worry about it. All right, thank you. All right,
We'll be coming back periodically, like I mentioned. So I appreciate the time, Mayor and the council. Feel free to call us anytime with information, and through Mr. Nichols, continue to ask us to come by, and we'll be more than happy to do so. Thank you again.
Thank you. We'll see you Thursday at the State of the Town, sir. Thank you. Next on our agenda is the update to our Town of Dumfries Destination Dumfries 2044 Comprehensive Plan. We're excited about this. We got some great updates, and as Mr. Tabor gets up there, this has been a labor of love as he's hooking up. I remember going through this process when we did the 2014, me and then Councilwoman Gwen Washington looking at a not so comprehensive one. And then let me know when you're ready, Mr. Tabor. I'm just talking. And so to be able to get this final mock-up that has the implementation matrix, we are excited to talk about the opportunity that still exists. Mr. Tabor, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, members of council, tonight I'd like to provide you with an update on the comprehensive plan update status. And I'll provide a status of the update process, recent amendments to the document, next steps, and we'll quickly view the plan, draft plan on the website. So the process has included pretty much 4 phases. Phase 1, the kickoff, discovery. Phase 2, phase 3, visioning, and we're in the final or 4th stage, the draft plan and final draft and final plan, which we are presenting tonight, and will request that you schedule a public hearing and approve the amendments at your next meeting. So it's kind of a little difficult to see, but the document is now 233 pages, and it includes 46 figures, an overview and 9 chapters, an implementation chapter and actions with timeframes, In addition to the chapters included in the 2014 and 2020 update, a chapter on economic growth was added to reflect the priority included in the town's strategic plan, and a chapter on health and public safety was added to also reflect a priority in the town's strategic plan and also comments received during the public engagement process. A link to the appendices was added on the town's website, which includes a summary of the public engagement feedback, the town's strategic plan, the town's capital improvement plan, or CIP, and 5 other documents. So process and status. Since the last presentation to council, May 6th, we have amended the draft comprehensive plan update to include acknowledgements, an updated engagement process, additional information describing the plan and why it is being updated, an updated schedule, and amended text to reflect comments received by the mayor and council, including language that clarifies support for efforts to enhance facilities and services for town residents within the purview of other organizations like the Prince William County School Board, or those that require agreements with other agencies like VDOT to access resources necessary to accomplish town goals. There was a concern expressed by council that some of the action items may have seemed to obligate the town, but were not within the town purview. So we made a concerted effort to eliminate those conflicts. So the implementation chapter that has been included includes the 9 elements. It includes 25 vision statements, 25 goals corresponding to those vision statements, 63 policies, and 355 action items. The action items are also identified by type, as administrative actions, capital projects, code amendments, interagency agreements, and additional plans. And as I mentioned, the timeframes are provided as well. And they are identified as short or 0 to 2 years, short and mid, which would be 0 to 5 years, short, mid, and long, which would be 0 to 20 years. And this hopefully will make sense once we look at the plan. But then a mid-range of 3 to 5 years, starting in 3 years and then concluding in within 5 years. Mid to long, which would be starting in 3 years and then concluding within 20 years, and then long, starting in 6 years and then concluding within 20 years. And we have the percentages. We actually only have one project that, or action item that is long that would start within 6 years, and that relates to the Overlook Park, which will revert to the town in 10 years. So that wouldn't start until in a 10-year period. So what's next? The draft plan is currently on the town website for public review. Tonight, we are asking for the council to schedule a public hearing during the next council meeting and consider adoption of the plan update following the public hearing. If the plan update is adopted, we will make any final changes and prepare the document for printing and placement on the town's website. We will work with the town manager to identify responsible staff to implement each action. We will develop an implementation monitoring, reporting process, and schedule, and then we will begin implementation and reporting on the status. Oops. Okay, so let's see, now we'll try to take a look at the plan. Okay, so this is the plan on the website. And we added the acknowledgements page, and we thank the mayor and council for your support and comments during the update process. The Planning Commission has served as the steering committee, and we certainly could not have done this without their support. residents and stakeholders, their comments and participation in the engagement process during farmers markets and other events was invaluable. Of course, the town manager and staff. Interns, we received support and information from the town's interns to get our youth perspective, and our consultants are RHI again, RKK and RKG. And then we had interviews with various stakeholder groups, primarily related to each chapter, and this is a list of the participants in those interviews. They were regional subject matter experts, and we got some great information from them. Let's see. Page there. Okay. Then we have the table of contents and the figures that I had mentioned, an introduction, and again, we amended what is the comprehensive plan to provide additional information based on council comments, and why is the update needed. The schedule was updated as well. A summary of the community engagement, and these are the chapters. Community engagement information, how to use the plan, goals, policies, and actions, and then the vision and framework. And we've discussed this previously in our presentations. And we've looked at the framework map that was presented previously. The mayor mentioned connectivity as being a major concern and a major effort in our plan update. The framework and the 5 mixed-use hubs that we've previously talked about, and precedents or examples of places that we would like to strive to achieve here in the town. The framework components, and again, the elements or chapters, 9 of those, and then current conditions, strategies, and actions. Go through this, and we've been through much of this previously. Then we get into the chapters or the elements, the land use and livability chapter. It includes, just go back briefly, it includes the vision. Then it gets into goals and background information, summary information. Issues and opportunities, description, a few figures, and then the proposed future land use map. And our existing future land use map includes quite a few specific land uses, and we are proposing more mixed use development. And then I'll go back, and we have in each of the chapters or elements the action items.
This is a great update.
And then I'll skip to the
implementation.
We're going through each of the elements. I'll skip to, yes. If I can, let's see. Okay, here we go, page down. Okay. Okay, implementation. So in the implementation schedule, as I mentioned previously, we have the action types and we have the timeframes for each of the action items. And each action item that's listed in the chapter above is listed in the table. We have its reference number, we have the action item and policy, then we have the action type, again, if it's a plan or administrative action, a part of the CIP, and then we have the time frame. And so, as I was mentioning, we have short, mid, term, and long, and some of the items will include both. So like I mentioned before, it could be 3 to 20 years, or it could be 0 to 3 to 2 years as short. And that's how it's each action item is identified. And we have them for all of the 9 elements that are here. And again, we really thank the council, mayor and council for your comments and support. And of course, the community for your comments and support as well. And we're happy to respond to any questions.
First, I want to take a moment to really sincerely thank you and our whole consulting team for their dedication and collaboration throughout this long planning process. You know, having gone through this now is my 3rd time, I guess, if you count the 2020, which I really didn't count during the pandemic, and it was just a Main Street insert. But the 2014, the 2020, and now going through this a 3rd time. Of course, I've had a lot of lessons learned from my time at going through comp plans and putting it. So what you and the consultants have helped build in this draft is a very bold and visionary document. One that captures much of what makes Dumfries a town with deep roots and limitless potential. And there's a lot to be proud of in this document. I highlighted some of the things because you heard us when we said we want Dumfries not to be a pass-through town. We want it to be a destination. And I think this plan reflects that. And it reflects it in these areas specifically. The waterfront district with the vision that was written in here that talks about compelling boardwalks, green infrastructure, trails, and it reclaims our history there. We got a history report coming up, and it turns that history into a future asset. And so that's a beautiful part. The focus on Main Street revitalization in that section in there that really focuses on the connectivity that's going to align beautiful with the hopes of a walkable, thriving town center. And so, you know, that was important for me because we don't want our Main Street to be disconnected from our highest density community. And so we got to really focus on, once those 6 lanes is there, how do those people get over here to downtown, and that we don't feel like it's 2 separate towns. Like the railroad tracks, Route 1 is dividing the town. And so we were able to, that was important for us to capture that in this document because we're future thinking for the next few years. In this update, you included the Economic Development Authority. That's going to be a major wheel because it's a tool that's going to help us turn the vision into an investment, right? And so I especially appreciate the attention to the cultural identity and the equity from the support of everybody being recognized in our history and our community soul. And so those were just some of the highlights. Some of the areas where I think we could have pushed further. I said in a couple of weeks ago, Prince William County just did their small area plan for Fetler Park. We're getting emails now about not collaborating with them on the Potomac Shores Parkway and the cul-de-sac being closed off. I think we could have had something about the Fetler Park, their small area plan in there, because they are planning to redevelop that commuter lot, which is going to impact directly across the street from the town of Dumfries. And so my concern is there's no mention of that Fetler Park market study where we're thinking about the industrial zoning just across the street from us. These developments are going to bring us a lot of traffic, infrastructure demands, and the economic ripple effects. And we need to state in there that Dumfries got to have a seat at that table. We got to be in the room for those conversations. And so I like to see some type of formal coordination strategy with it. I don't know if we just got to do a resolution or something, but some cross-boundary land use planning, like cross-boundary. You know, we got caught up with some pieces of land that wasn't in the town that impacted our community, who are feeling the brunt of noise and dust and all of that. And so I think the plan missed the opportunity for some type of formal coordination with the county there where we have a strategy. I think we're missing a real affordable housing strategy. As I went through the housing section, it omits stuff like inclusionary zoning, rental protections or preservation. We have manufactured homes, and we have a aging infrastructure. Take the plan, say most of our housing stock was built 1970 to 2000 until our just recent bill with Highland Park and all of that. So it says we have an aging infrastructure. So now with that aging infrastructure, how do we plan in the next 20 years, right, to redevelop those aging communities, right? I'm trying to say this the politically correct way, right? Because we have aging. So from 1970 to 2044, how old were those particular units? And so I think we need some type of a plan and end with in the preservation of, I don't know, our manufactured houses. Right. That's a nice way of saying it. We can't talk about growth without talking about affordability, especially for the working families. I love the fact that it's on the website. And I think the way, third thing, with the way technology is advancing, if there was a way for us to have a public-facing dashboard that's just showing the progress where people can say, oh, it's a green light here, it's moving. So some type of dashboard to track our progress. It continues to build accountability for us and keeps residents engaged in what we're doing and how this plan. I love the pie charts that you put up. I didn't see that at the beginning, but that was beautiful to say 53% of these projects can be done in the first 2 years. So that's amazing to be able to see that. And so transparency isn't just good government. I think it's a good strategy to be able to put up there. One of the things that was very important was, our town government facilities are scattered all around. We got stuff over there, and we're growing. And so, I don't know what we can do because the population is going to grow. I know Prince William County by 2044 is projected to grow by another 200,000 residents, right? So they're at 500,000, 200,000. So I don't know how that's going to overflow to Dumfries. I don't know what our population projection is going to grow. But if it's growing at that percentage, Over 6,000. No, you said we're over 6,000? And so my concern lastly is in workforce and some type of youth innovation, right? And so we got to look more for career paths because we don't want to get into gentrification and stuff like that. So how do we create pathways to jobs and high-paying job opportunities for our residents? I said that we need to put somewhere in the plan that we need to bring a HBCU to Northern Virginia. We have a lot of people who start classes but haven't finished it and have an opportunity or somewhere for them to finish it, or other college partners, training providers, vocational and tech type of things. I think we need to say that Dumfries wants to lead the way in making sure that we protect the people that are here, giving them a pathway for a career and high-paying jobs and like some type of dual enrollment. And so we have to have somewhere where there's some economic mobility. I know in a lot of my mayor circles, they have their little cohorts, and a lot of them now are doing economic mobility cohorts in their community. And I'm trying to get in the next cohort so we can do something like that. But economic mobility is important because we have a huge minority majority community with 40% being Hispanic or Spanish speaking, 35% being African American, 23% being white, and then we have the other. So when you look at our demographics and our income disparities from Prince William County to here, I think we drop about $35,000 from what Prince William County's median household income. So economic mobility, I think, needs to be, as we bring this back, we have to talk about the economics here. And so, these aren't critiques for the sake of criticism in the project. I was just giving it because I think there are the next layers to really build the plan that's really, truly comprehensive, and one that makes sure all of Dumfries kind of continues to rise with the tide. And so I'm welcome to work to see how we can integrate this as we come to the public hearing for the final adoption and include some of these top priorities into the implementation stage. So let's continue to finish strong. I mean, I've seen the gaps and I think the other thing was funding sources, but that's cool. I like how they implemented even the the grants and the awards in there. So I seen all of that. So good. It took me some time because that was very hard to read on a computer. That's all I got. Town manager.
I just had a quick question, just for clarification. Are you asking for the staff to go back, meet with the consultants, and incorporate these things before it's brought back to council for the public hearing? Just so I'm clear.
I think we need to include those things if we're looking at a 2044 document and figure out how it fits, because if it's going to be a priority, it needs to be in our strategic plan. If we're going to make economic mobility, if we're going to make affordable housing, it needs to be kind of stated somewhere in there that, hey, this is what this council values. We value making sure we don't displace our residents, right? We just value not taking away our manufactured homes or making sure they have somewhere to go and they're not displaced, you know, and the, what was the other point there? And being a part of the conversation with Prince William County when they do projects around our boundaries, some type of lateral land use strategy with the county, formal coordination strategy. We want to say that, hey, we want a seat at those tables. And I think once it's in our documents, because what I learned, if it wasn't written in it didn't say it was a priority. And so when we went to these people, they say, well, what's in your strategic plan? What's in your comp plan? If it wasn't written in there, it wasn't a priority.
Okay, so with in regards to that, the consultants believe they are pretty much done with the comp plan. If we have to go back for revisions, as was communicated the last time we've said it, it's going to result in a financial implication which has not been budgeted for. So what I'm going to ask that Mr. Tabor do is go back, talk to the consultant, find out how much the additional changes are. We will have to remove the public hearing because it will not be done in 2 weeks. I know it will not be done in 2 weeks. And then I will bring it back to council so we know what additional funding is needed to make revisions to the contract.
Well, I think some of these comments I gave them last time, and I think they do have these comments. Mr. Tabor, go ahead. What do you want to say?
If I could, two, I guess maybe three comments. One is I hope the council and the community will view the comprehensive plan as a living document. And just because it is, we are required by state law to review the plan and update it every 5 years. And that's what we're doing now. But there's no reason that we cannot make an amendment to any amendment to the comp plan during your July meeting or during your September meeting or during your October meeting. So at any time we can make amendments to the plan, but this is the major 5-year update. And if we can, move forward with adopting the update, then at any point in the future, we can make any necessary amendments. And specifically we did address and incorporate the comments that you provided and really appreciate it because they made it a much stronger plan. For example, we did add review and amend ordinance provisions to add standards for manufactured housing and maintain quality affordable housing options for residents. And that was based on one of the comments that you made. And then connect workers to educational training and internship opportunities in partnership with local colleges, universities, and HBCUs. And we have several other references to HBCUs. We have items and action items related to collaborating with other jurisdictions, regionally, our neighbors in Prince William County, and even on a professional level. We mentioned this evening, Rick from Prince William County spoke about his relationship with our Public Works Director. I've met with and have a great relationship with Tanya Washington, the Director of Planning in Prince William County. I've also met with Christina Nguyen, who's the Director of Economic Development for Prince William County, and we're collaborating on a consistent basis as well. With Tanya, we meet monthly with the COG and talk about regional issues as well. So just on a professional level, we are definitely collaborating, and that will lead to additional collaboration in the planning and development arena.
Yeah, I'm comfortable, town manager, with moving forward and us being able to update it. So,
Appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
all right. All right. Councilman Pete.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I'm listening to this conversation just recently that was had. I'm hearing two things. I just want to make sure we're moving in clarity. I'm hearing that the Federal Park Plan is coming up, and we need to have a seat at the table when they negotiate that development. And then on the back end of it, I heard that we need to, the words were make low-income housing. Are we looking to?
No, I didn't say make income. Just, have a.
I just want to make sure we clear. Are we looking to add more residents? Because I hear traffic. Then I hear planting at the commuter lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then I hear
it's all in the population growth is coming, and the density is part of the plan.
Okay, so add no more traffic. We just don't need to talk about traffic then no more, right?
That's what the whole track. It's all of that is outlined. It's actually in each chapter of the plan. There's a transportation segment of the plan. There's a housing segment of the plan, and it addresses Main Street.
I'm clear on that part because I've seen it in the plan. I'm up on it. I just want to make sure we giving direction in the proper way, and what they need to.
I just want them to move forward with what they have right now.
Okay, sounds good. Okay.
All right.
With that, I yield.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Tabor, for all the hard work and this plan. I think it does look amazing. It's very bold. I definitely like the way the implementation chart is way better than what it was before.
Right.
With those timelines. So that was like night and day what we had. So that was I was very impressed with when I saw the implementation because I didn't have it the last copy, and so then this copy to have that. I'm excited.
We are too.
From a plan, I'm becoming a planning geek like you. I don't know where this came from, and all these urban planning schools I'm going to now. So, thank you. Yeah. All right. Second. Oh, yeah. All right, next on the agenda, E, is our historic Dumfries. We're going to talk more about some history.
All right. I did have a slide, so he had it.
You said give him 1 minute. He's gonna pull it up.
Okay, so while he pulls it, here we go. All right, so I am Christy Barkalow, and I am the president of Historic Dumfries. I took over at the end of February, so yes, I am the fourth president in 18 months, but I plan to stay. I am a retired teacher. I taught at Graham Park Middle School for 31 years. Go Lions. And because I'm a teacher, I have to start with a little lesson. So today, I want you to use your mind's eye. That's your imagination. And I know you're all familiar with the roads in this area. So what I want you to do is, in your mind's eye, go down Graham Park Road, and you'll hit the four-way stop where Williamstown is. Keep going past Ginn Park. That's on your left. And then keep going, and you'll pass Clyde Washington Community Center on your left. And you keep going, and you pass the Lutheran Church on the right, and keep going. And you're going to pass by Linden Park Apartments on your left, and Graham Park Middle School on your right. Melrose is going to be on your left, and you're going to get to the end of Graham Park Road. Everybody know where you're at? Yes. Okay, so now Graham Park Road kind of comes to an end, and it's going to force you to make a right to get onto Cabin Road. Now you're on Cabin Road, and there is a turn, a traffic circle. It's kind of new, traffic circle. We're going to pretend that traffic circle is a time machine. And so when we go around this traffic circle, in your mind's eye, go around the traffic circle, and now you're in 1930. The year is 1930. Look around in your mind's eye. You see nothing but fields. There is literally nothing but fields. And your road is now a gravel road. Cabin Road is a gravel road. You can hear birds, a little bit of water from Quantico Creek. but you can also hear tractors because they're clearing the land to make Melrose. Yes, they started clearing it in 1930. So yes, some of your houses are very old. So they're clearing the land. You hear those tractors. Go down the road just a little bit further down Cabin and turn left. There's a dirt road there. Just turn left down that dirt road. Keep going down towards Quantico Creek. And now look at the picture. This is where you're at. You are standing right there, just on the edge of Quantico Creek, down that dirt road off Cabin Road, and you're looking at this tree. Some of you might know what this tree is. This tree has been here for almost 300 years. Remember, it's 1930. The tree's been here for almost 300 years. This tree is called the Indian Treaty Oak. Yep. It was used by the Native Americans in our area for their council meetings. Just like you're here today, they had a beautiful tree. Now in Dumfries, 300, 400 years ago, before the Europeans came, there were Native Americans right here, but we did not have a tribe right here in Dumfries. There are many, many tribes around us, and they were part of the Powhatan Council. They spoke Algonquin. And they would meet at this tree. And this is where they would have their council meetings. And you think about it, what a perfect place to meet. They could access by water coming from the Potomac River down Quantico Creek. They could meet right there. So for hundreds of years, this is where the Native Americans in our area met, had their meetings, had their discussions. But in 1930, Mother Nature had other plans for that tree. It was struck by lightning. And then that tree eventually died. They weren't able to rescue it. They decided to cut it down. The Smithsonian came out in 1936, took pictures of the tree, took core samples of the tree, and saved it. And it's somewhere in storage in the Smithsonian is a core sample of that tree. So that's really a fascinating thing in that picture right here in the town of Dumfries, because yes, that was Dumfries back in the 1700s. The other thing in that picture, I don't know if you can see it very well, but it looks like a roof. Like right under the tree there, it looks like a roof. Do you see that? That actually is an old ice house. It was built in the 1700s. Remember, we're standing in 1930. We're looking down this road. It's 1930. That was literally still there because this land was John Graham's land, and he built an ice house in the 1700s, the early 1700s. That ice house could store 100 tons of ice. Now think about it. If you're not familiar with how they did ice back then, think of the movie Frozen. If you have grandkids or kids, the beginning of the movie, they were cutting ice. Literally, that's what they did on Quantico Creek. They cut the ice and they stored it in that ice house in 1750. And they did that for a very long time. And eventually, when they took the tree down, they also decided that that ice house was a danger because ice houses go deep down into the ground because that's how you keep the ice frozen all summer long. So that was taken down too in 1930s. But it's terrific that we have that picture still, and we have this history. And it's a very important history. Dumfries has a lot of history that people don't know about. And the mayor has asked me to come every month and share with you a little bit about Dumfries and what's happening in historic Dumfries. So let me tell you a little bit about what we're doing now. I sent you guys the minutes from our last meeting, but I want to clarify a few things. So we can go to the next slide. I think I have a button here, but there we go. All right, so first off, I want to give you a hard copy of the franchise agreement. I know I've sent it to you many times, but there, you can take one and pass it down. I know when I go to meetings and people are talking about a form and then I don't actually have it in my hand and I'm trying to think back, I'm just like, what are they talking about? So I want to make sure I provided you with a franchise agreement. Now, this franchise agreement was written some time ago. Actually, Abby, who is our only paid person at the Williams-Botts Museum, wasn't even born when this franchise agreement was written. But the people who made it last for 40 years. So it's still good. It's still perfectly good. When I talked with the mayor and the town manager, the suggestion was made that maybe have the attorney review it. And we're totally open to that idea, especially since that document is owned by both Historic Dumfries and the town. So it belongs to all of us. The first item that the board, the Historic Dumfries board, is concerned about is number 6A. If you read on that, you all are responsible for the whole property. It's yours. We are like your tenants. You're the landlords. A suggestion was made by the board that you utilize a property manager that would be able to come check on the property regularly. We'd be able to say, hey, this toilet is broken or the roof is leaking, and then the property manager would fix it. So that was a big suggestion that the board had. The next suggestion was number 13, the grant writing permission. If you notice on number 13, it says that we have to have your permission in order to even apply for a grant. Last February, we asked permission to apply for the Rose Grant. We are just getting permission today. That's months to wait for permission. And we haven't even applied for the grant yet. That's all that was just waiting to give permission to write the grant. It's really, really holding us back on writing grants, on getting any kind of funding. All right, so moving on to budget clarification. This is a big one. In the past, we've received $50,000 from Prince William County in their community partners grant, but this year we will not. We received a letter this week stating that we will not be receiving that community partners grant this year. That was $50,000. That's more than 2/3 of our budget that we will not be receiving this year. So we wanted to bring that to your attention. It's very, very important now that we're able to write grants as quickly as possible. And then the question came up about Merchant Park. Currently, you guys own Merchant Park, but we are in charge, Historic Dumfries is in charge of the reservations. And in return, we've been able to keep the proceeds from those reservations. It comes out to about $1,000 a year, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for Abby, our director, to keep track of the reservations, talk with the people who want to make the reservations, explain the reservations, explain what they would get, and meet them at the park, make sure the bathrooms are open, make sure the kitchen is open. All of that is Abby's responsibility right now. Also, when I talked with the mayor, it was brought up that, hey, can the town just take over the reservations? And I myself was like, yes. But the board had, one concern was that because we're a nonprofit, we can say yay or nay to an organization, whereas you as a town would not be able to say, no, you can't rent our park. Right now, the rental cost is $500 to rent the park, plus $100 for liability insurance. If you're a member, it's $250. Hint, hint, become a member. $250 and $100 for liability insurance. If you're a nonprofit organization, renting the park is free. It's just $100 liability insurance you would have to pay. Also, keep in mind that the parking for the park, there's no real parking except for the few spots in front. We use Dumfries Elementary, but you do have to get permission from Prince William County Schools to use that parking lot. You can't just automatically use the parking lot. So those are the concerns that the board had about turning over Merchant Park. Plus, people who rent it are going to come knocking on the door of the Williams-Botts Annex with questions. Okay, so events. The past events, we had a free book exchange in May for Charter Day. As you may know, people of Dumfries have always worn many hats. And Mason Locke Weems was a doctor, a pastor, a writer, because he wrote the Cherry Tree Story, and he also was a bookseller. So for Charter Day this year, we did a free book exchange. We had well over 300 books, and we had almost 50 people show up to trade books, talk, and share books. We have so many books that we have now been filling your little library right here as well. If you notice, it's jam-packed with books. That's us sticking books in the little library here. And we gave out a little free giveaway, which I will pass it along. I think I'm going to pass it along. If you don't know what this is, it's a book holder. It's for reading. You stick your thumb in it and you hold open your book so that your hand doesn't cramp up. This was a little free giveaway that we gave out at the free book exchange. And the events that are coming up, we have our annual meeting. I hope you all got an invitation in the mail. If you didn't, I know it probably got returned to us. If you're not a member of Historic Dumfries, there's a QR code on that invitation for you to join Historic Dumfries. And we look forward to seeing you at the annual meeting on June 12th. This summer, we also plan to have a Boy Scout Archaeology Merit Badge offered and some other fun archaeological type of digs this summer as well. And hopefully, we're going to apply for an America 250 grant.
Well, thank you for your great history lesson and your education, edification of the franchise agreement, what's going on with the budget, the merchant, the event. Thank you for your excitement and your energy for the history of Dumfries. I know that for years I've especially talked to a lot of our seniors and sat down to really understand the origin and the genesis of Historic Dumfries relationship. We've talked about it being our tourism arm. We talked about it being the keeper of history. We talked about it being our welcome center. It's in the 13 years that I've been here, I've seen different evolutions and conversations around the role. I've seen many presidents come and go, few executive directors, none with as much energy as you. I think Joanne might have came close with her. Yeah, I know you like Joanne. Joanne was pretty good with the amount of information she gave. But this has just been one of those, I think that now as we're developing our new comp plan, as we're developing Destination Dumfries 2044, I think it's a great opportunity for us to really define and get a clear sense of purpose for our relationship and the direction we want to go forth. And so I think it's some conversations we can continue to sit down and have so we can dig deeper, and that as we can refine this so that future councils and future presidents, executive director would know exactly what this relationship is supposed to be. And so I think it's a great opportunity for us, as you said, to look at some of the numbers in there, look at how we can refine that, look how we can take ownership and responsibility where we as a town can take responsibility, and we can define the relationship that we have. Town manager, you had something you want to add?
Yes, I just wanted to comment in regards to the franchise agreement. We have asked our town attorney to take a look at that. She does have some conversations that we need to have internally as it relates to that, as it relates to the different repairs that need to be done around the facilities. As she has said that she says this as a landlord-tenant type thing. So as a person who is a tenant, sometimes you have to make your landlord aware of the problems, because we did not know that all of these problems exist. So, and utilizing a property management company is another cost to the town that I don't believe we've even considered budgeting for. So I just want to make sure I go on the record that we will have some internal discussions as it relates to the relationship with Historic Dumfries as well as this agreement. And we will come back to them to let them know what the council thinks about that. Also, as it relates to the grant, I guess none of us was aware that that was in the actual agreement. And I did receive the information a couple days before the last council meeting where we were able to quickly write up the resolution for council to approve. So anything else that requires approval, we will make it a priority, but sometimes it requires some coordination and information to be given to us to ensure that we can put that in a resolution for council to consider. And those are my comments, sir.
All right.
I did want to thank Mr. Nichols. He's been out many times to the Williams-Watts Museum looking at the electrical box, and the bathroom is all gotten nicely repaired, so that's been terrific.
Thank you and welcome aboard, and we look forward to working to you and make sure that we continue to open lines of communication. I encourage everybody who's available on June 12th to go out to the annual meeting and hear what's going on in historical Dumfries.
Thank you.
All right. Next on our agenda now is to actually adopt the consent agenda, which, say again? Yeah, we're going to adopt the consent agenda, which has, we're scheduling some public hearings for some ordinances. And we will approve the resolution in this consent agenda. I just wanted to make sure I said it. We're approving the resolution in support of Historic Dumfries for the application for their charitable donation for the Rosie's Give Back, a charitable donation from Churchill Downs. So it's in this, it's in the consent agenda. Just wanted to say that out loud. All right. Say it. Okay. All right, so I make a motion that we adopt the consent agenda.
Second.
All right, it's been motion and second. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none.
Yes, there is discussion, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
This is for historical Dumfries.
It's a motion on the floor and it's a second. So the motion your question has to address the motion on the consent agenda.
No discussion, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion on the motion that's on the floor to adopt the consent agenda? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson? Aye. Councilmember Peake?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Mayor Woods?
Yes.
This motion has passed. Thank you.
All right. Now we move to our public hearings. Our first public hearing is a request authority to the town manager to enter into a lease agreement between the town of Dumfries and the Alpha Medical and Behavior Health for Suite 160. Madam Town Manager, the floor is yours.
All
right, Mr. Nichols.
Good evening again. Come before you to request authority for the town manager to enter into a lease for Suite 160. Virginia Code 15.2-1800 provides any locality may not lease or as lesser its real property until governing body has held a public hearing concerning such. And whereas the town of Dumfries desires to enter into a lease agreement with Alpha Medical and Behavioral Health for office space identified as Suite 160, located at 17739 Main Street. And whereas the term of this lease commenced on March 1st, 2025, with a term expiration 5 years following the commencement of the rentable space identified as 160, which encompasses approximately 1,598 rentable square feet on the first floor. Whereas this lease commenced on March 1st with the tenant's rent of $18.77 per square foot, commencing March 1st with the annual term base escalation of 2% of the then current amount of rent in accordance with the table in the agreement. And therefore, it be resolved, the town council hereby authorizes the town manager to enter into the lease agreement between the town of Dumfries and Alpha Medical Behavioral Health And be it further resolved that this resolution shall become effective immediately upon passage and adoption by town council.
All right, council, any questions on the staff report? All right, seeing no questions, we will now open the public hearing. Madam Clerk, is anyone signed up to speak at the public hearing on this?
No, sir.
All right. With that said, is anybody here to speak on that property? I will now close the public hearing. Public hearing is closed. All right. This is good because it brings another healthcare provider to our town-owned space. Is this next to our DMV, or it is next to our DMV? In both of those end units, or the one directly next to it?
So it's one right up next to right next door. And then we already rented the other space where,
You gotta turn your mic on so they can.
So this will be the last space on the first floor that is unoccupied to be rented. So this is right next door to the DMV, sir.
Okay. So they're gonna be long-term like the other ones?
We're trying to keep them all long-term, sir.
What was, I'm sorry, what was the terms again? I know you said.
5 years.
5 years. Okay, so that's good. That's a good term, 60 months. And did we know what type, was it behavior health? Was it youth service, veterans, underserved? Do we know who they're serving? I'm just curious.
From the website, it deals with a lot of counseling, primarily with weight issues, things like that. And 180 is also a health provider as well.
That's good. All right, council, any further questions on that? If not, we're looking for action. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the resolution approving the authority for the town manager to enter into a lease agreement between the town of Dumfries and Alpha Medical Behavior Health for Suite 160.
I second that motion, Mr. Mayor.
All right, it's been motioned and second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson? Aye. Councilmember Pete?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
That motion has passed.
All right, next on the agenda is a continuation of a public hearing for ordinance that we amended Chapter 6, Article 3 on music and entertainment and festivals, Divisions 1 and 2 of the Code of the Town of Dumfries, providing for redesignations of provisions for consistency, repeal of conflicting ordinances, how it's serviced and how it's effective. Town Attorney, the floor on this is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. As the mayor said, this is a continuation of a public hearing that started on May 6th. And if you look at the agenda packet in which there's another draft of the ordinance that was up for discussion, the text that is highlighted in yellow is the text that has changed since the May 6th hearing. Now, the ordinance was first under review as a result of the review of the town code that's currently being undertaken right now. At the meeting, there was some concern about having a prohibition of attendees under the age of 18. Having to be accompanied by an adult. So some of the text at 6-90 was intended to assuage some of those concerns, balancing the considerations that were discussed, which was having the opportunity for, on some occasions, for young folks to attend events without the accompaniment of a parent or a guardian, as well as those concerns about potential liability eventually resulting to the town. So what I proposed here was in lieu of the other suggestion, which was to simply repeal that provision that would have required persons under 18 to be accompanied. And we can discuss those to see if they are sufficient. Again, if you go to page 4 of 6, there are 2 additional sections that have now been added, section 6-114 and 6-115. dealing with insurance and indemnification respectively. Again, those sections were included to balance those concerns about potential liability related to the attendance of young folks that may be unattended or unaccompanied by an adult. So, Your Honor, Mr. Mayor, I am available for any questions that you may have, but in summary, what we've provided for is a limited exception to a parent or a guardian if the event was actually geared toward or intended for young people.
Okay. All right, council, questions on the staff report? Any questions? I was always mixed because I support safer event planning, but I always was wondering if this was going to create more burdens or obstacles. Does this apply to both public and private events? Because I think that was came. I was trying to get clarity.
Yes, and there was an exchange on that. The presumption, by the way it reads, is applies to private events.
Okay.
But we don't have anything expressly incorporated in the ordinance that says none of these provisions apply to an event hosted by the town of Dumfries, which that could, of course, be added. It was not.
Was there a threshold for attendance that triggered like the decibel levels for this permit requirement?
No, I mean, we have separate ordinances that
Okay,
deal with noise.
so we don't have to put that in.
One of the things I did do, and you can see some of that at page 1 of 6 and 2 of 6, during our last meeting addressing this ordinance, there was a question as to whether or not it applied to, say, listening to music that may have been recorded.
DJ.
And yeah, so there was an effort to make sure there was an emphasis on live performances,
okay.
so that question would be resolved.
Got it. Now, I think the last question that was controversy last time, and I'll bring it up again, are ticket sales allowed at the door for indoor venues?
So this ordinance applies to outdoor events. It's never applied to
But I just want to
indoor
make sure,
events.
I just wanted to ask, because I know it was on the table last time, so I wanted to put it back out to make sure we answered it.
Sure. So I don't know if you heard the answer, but this ordinance does not apply to indoor events. It never was applicable to indoor events. So it really isn't something that's going to be addressed by this ordinance at all.
All right. I will now look to open the public hearing. Madam Clerk, is there anyone signed up to speak at our public hearing tonight on this issue?
No, sir.
Okay, is anyone here to speak on that issue? Seeing none, I will now close the public hearing. Public hearing is now closed. Okay. I'll make a motion that we adopt the ordinance amending Chapter 6, Article 3, Music Entertainment Festivals, Division 1 and 2 of the Code, providing the redesignation and provision for consistency, repeal, and all that other good stuff.
Mr. Mayor, I second that motion.
All right, it's been motioned and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson?
Yes.
Councilmember Pete?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
That motion has passed.
All right. Final item on the agenda, final public hearing is the review and adoption of our non-discriminatory policy to comply with the federal regulations, 40 CFR Part 5 and 7. Madam Attorney.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. This is actually not open or up for public hearing, but simply as an action item.
Okay.
We put it on as an action item rather than a consent item because it requires council to designate a non-discrimination coordinator as a part of the adoption process. And we wanted to make sure that you had an opportunity to discuss this before taking any action. But the non-discrimination policy, as you see it, was based on basically a policy that has been adopted in other locations. The policy itself is required for our brownfield grant, and is a necessary component to our redevelopment plans for the waterfront district. As indicated, there is a designation of a non-discrimination coordinator as a part of the approval. That position does not currently exist in our classification. There is not a request, I understand, to create a specific classification, but simply to approve the position that will be shared or exercised by our current human resources administrator. I recommend approval. I'm happy to answer the questions related to the content of the policy, but it is required. Thank you.
All right. I guess my biggest question, does it open up access to additional federal funding for us?
Well, it will make sure that we can actually get that's already been approved. So I understand that there is a requirement to have a policy and a coordinator for most federal grants. And so having that already in place would probably aid us in getting additional monies, or at least getting it more quickly.
That's a good answer. So does this impact our private sector, our business community here too, as well?
I don't know how to answer that question. It's available to anyone who believes that they have been affected by some discriminatory act relative to the execution of this grant in particular, but it can serve as being a component of a process for any other complainant. So whether it's related solely to the grant or someone else remains. So there's a benefit to everyone to know that we have a path forward to move complaints about processes up the chain of command for some kind of resolution. Okay. So businesses and individuals.
So is this in addition to like a EOO policy and stuff like that?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And so some of those policies, I don't want to belabor it, but you would be able to exercise it without the policy in place. But having the policy in place is a sign of good governance.
Got it. Town manager, who would be the recommended body as we make this motion to be appointed to that position?
So that's Ms. Lorraine Deeb. She's our current Human Resources Administrator.
So put in the HR. We'll just designate the HR manager.
Yep, HR Administrator.
Okay. All right. Councilman Pete. I thought you turned your light on. What you got?
Mr. Mayor, I would like to ask that we move on a motion for our HR to establish a non-discrimination policy for the town of Dumfries.
So you would approve and adopt it, designating the HR director? Approve and adopt, designate?
That's correct.
Okay.
Second.
All right. It's been motioned and second that we approve and adopt our non-discrimination policy, designating the HR director as the point person for that. On the motion made and second, any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson?
Yes.
Councilmember Pete?
Absolutely.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
That motion has passed.
All right. That concludes our agenda tonight. Thursday night, 7 p.m., we'll be back here for our annual State of the Town address. At this time, this concludes our meeting.